Welcome, Gemini, to your Gemini September 2021 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, for those of you who are stopping by for the first time, and to the subscribers, much love and affection to you. You know you're in my thoughts always during the month, and I send you good energy as well. And I've done some personal readings for some of you over the course of the last month, and if you'd like to have one with me from anywhere in the world, just check out the information that's in the description box below. But now we're going to take 5 cards, because haven't you found that 5 is all we need to get a good in-depth view as to what's happening? Because each card always has so much to say to us. Well, let's see what they have to say to us now. What are the cards going to be? This first one is the 10 of Wands. This is the 10 of Swords. This is a couple of 10s there. They're always good. It's a great number, 10. 10, the Wheel of Fortune. Gee, you've got some good luck coming your way. The Master of Discs. Well, it seems that some of the terminology is different to what we are normally used to, but that doesn't matter, because what is important is that the numbers, the art, the suits will tell us what is going on. And there is the Master of Swords, reading the web. Well, this looks absolutely fantastic. You're going to enjoy this. Come down and sit down here next to me while we have a good close look at the artwork on these cards together while I do the reading for you. Then now I think you ought to see, gee, the messages coming up with these cards are really, I think that they want to have a conversation with you. So let's see what this one here first has. Do you know, this is very often seen as being a difficult energy, this 10 of Swords, but I don't think it is really so much here. Why do I see that? Well, let's have a look at the painting. Now, in the painting here, the layers of the canyon reflect the layers of your story and how deep it is. At the bottom is a core pattern that we are organized around, all of us. It is illuminated here by the light of awareness that's coming in through the top here. There it is, coming through this direction here. The ascending birds are a symbol of leaving the pattern. The fact that they rise in a spiral reminds you that your work on your patterns is something you do again and again. It is easy to get discouraged by this and forget that you are indeed moving forward. It helps to remember that this may be a pattern you've been living out for many lives sometimes, and that changing the pattern is a major part of your life's work. It is as if each time you identify with the story, you get sucked back down the energy vortex. And each time you disidentify, you rise to a higher and freer perspective. Freedom is getting out of the canyon, out of the ruts of the mind that have obstructed the radical openness of your true nature. Now, the number 10, which is down here, has the energy around it of the beginning of a new pattern. The 10 of Swords, as this is about mental patterns, although you must remember that mental patterns also involve feelings. Thoughts precipitate feelings, and feelings themselves generally have an interpretive element to them. You then take on mental thoughts about your feelings. A feeling comes into focus within a particular context that gives it meaning. Thoughts, feelings, and self-images are the stuff of mental patterns. Now, to understand how you free yourself from patterns, you must understand how you get stuck in them. Patterns are like mental grooves. The more often your thoughts and feelings go down certain channels, the deeper those grooves become. You think the same old thoughts and have the same old feelings. The deepest of these complexes is sometimes referred to as your story, because you have run this story again and again. It is not just a groove, it's more like a pit by this stage, a giant hole you can easily fall into. The further you fall into the pit, the harder it is to get out. So being aware of when a particular sequence first starts, that allows you to avoid automatically falling into the pattern and to find other options. The pattern has ended when you no longer fall into the pit, but rather negotiate your way around it. Now, at all times, all people, from time to time, have dark thoughts in their minds. But the thing is this: the ray of light always comes in, and the bird always flies up towards the heavens and towards heaven itself. Well, let's see what there is diagonally opposite it, and it's this card here, the Wheel of Fortune. As I say, I want to have a conversation with you for some reason this month. Must be in the mood in this deck. Well, the image here in this painting portrays the unfoldment of life, I think, in both the human and natural world. The ribbon spiraling outwards and a stream of animals within it portray life as a changing stream, evolutionary in nature. Do you know the Navajo people in North America call nature the changing woman? And we get a sense of this from looking at this painting, I think, don't we? The two figures, a younger woman at the top, you see her face there, and an older woman at the bottom, seeing her face down there. They're within the wheel. They represent the changes within a human lifespan. The buffalo on the horizon, as we see through here, well, I think they symbolize your spirit guides watching over you as you journey. Now, I think that because you have drawn this card, it means that a significant change is taking place or is just starting to poke up over the horizon. One chapter is ending and a new one beginning. Now, traditionally, it is thought to indicate a change in luck, often for the better, and I think that is the case here as well. This is a turning point for you if things have been going bad. The way forward now is much better. If miracles aren't happening for you at this time, then there is something wrong. But the most appropriate posture during such a period as this is one of openness. It can be helpful to experiment with practices that support openness, trust, and surrender. You might, for example, just lie on the ground in an open position with your palms up, repeating an affirmation such as, "I open to and embrace the lessons that come to me. I know that I am held and guided, and that this unfoldment serves my soul's purpose." Listen to any fears that come up and hold them with compassion. Remember that many of our attempts to control are simply ways of trying to manage fear, things that make us feel afraid. It is always helpful to stay current with your feelings and listen for guidance. Now, a personal journey is one place to do this, or a journal, rather, is a place to do this. It can provide you with a temporary base and perhaps prevent you from being blindsided because you weren't paying attention. Physical practices like yoga or other exercise systems. I like to lift weights and do, well, I won't say bodybuilding, that's a bit ridiculous at my age, but I do lots of weight work and such muscle development as I can manage, which isn't too bad for a guy my age, old guy my age. But these can help provide grounding. I'd say this though, looking at your life right now, can you identify a change that is happening? What is your attitude towards it? What helps you relax and open to the change? And how do you resist it? Remember that even positive change can be stressful, so be gentle with yourself. Change is difficult for everybody. You can ask friends for support, as well as ask for support from the many different parts of you. Any part that is not going along is slowing you down. Although this can create delays, ultimately, it cannot stop the turning of the wheel of fortune. Now, I might leave these bottom cards till later, so let's have a look at this wonderful piece of art. This is the Ten of Wands. Now, what do you have to say here at this time? Well, the Ten of Wands, I think, signify, what's its title, by the way? No self. No self. All right, let me think about no self. Well, I think that this card signifies leaving behind your usual identity and ego activity. It is the experience of no self, an experience that ultimately helps loosen the old identity and move you along in your experience of self-realization. No self. I'm getting a bit spiritual here, but no self is what is left when the usual sense of personal self is dissolved. Do you understand what I mean? Once you've felt this more radical state of freedom, you can never fall back quite as far into believing your story and the personal identity that you have in your mind that goes with it. Although we often resist this loss of self, the experience itself is quite peaceful. I suppose no self is empty space, immaculate and pure, emptied of everything structured by mind. Mind can still function, but without the unnecessary activity. Activity is replaced with stillness, suffering with peace, identity with a sense of simple presence. Most often, the experience of no self follows years of preparation. But it may come in a moment of stillness and expansion after working through a psychological contraction, if I can put it that way, or as an emptiness encountered in a meditation retreat where you stop identifying with the thoughts, feelings, and images that make up your usual sense of self. The oneness inherent in the state of no self is portrayed in the picture, I think, by the fact that the person and the environment are made of the same substance. Can you see how that's happening in there in that painting? In the center of the heart is a prism symbolizing how underlying consciousness or being is refracted into the multiplicity that makes up the manifest world. The experience of no self is a reminder of this underlying wholeness. Now, I think why this is turning up for you in that position is that it signals an opportunity to drop into an inner silence that is sweet and restful. You may initially react to this inner emptiness with fear and judgment if you haven't done it before, but remember that true emptiness is peaceful, rather than the painful sense of something missing, which I might call deficient emptiness. No self, on the other hand, is a pristine and pure emptiness filled with radiant light. Now let's have a look and see what else there might be. Let's have a look at this Master of Discs, shall we? Gee, I'm getting a lot of Virgo and a lot of Leo around here, so they may well be important to you. Virgo and Leo. Very interesting. I'm just coming up in rush. I just see the astrological glyphs for both of them just pouring up. Well, in this painting, a variety of animals appear in the foreground, don't they? See them all down here, and these things jumping around and leaping about. But the woman who's here, it appears to me, she feels at home with these animal energies, as well as at home in the larger universe. Being master, and master in this sense is not gender attached, it just means competent or on top of things, I think. So being master of the material plane doesn't mean she has become a materialist. On the contrary, I think that she uses her material base, and there is the earth that's here, almost within her womb, I suppose, to ground her connections with the heavens. Just as the woman's clothing, what would you call that? A cloak or something? What do women call those things? I can't remember. Anyway, just as those women's clothing things flow into the larger spiral in the image, the gracious abundance of the Master is part of his or her offering to the world. The Master's abundance is not securely fenced off, but is shared with others, whether through charitable giving or simply sharing the beauty of home, family, or a personal being. Now, the Master represents, I think, here in this position, and with the other cards around it, it represents for you, I think, success in the various aspects of your material life. Now, this Master here, he or she, we might call it, has gone through the other stations, like the stations of the cross in Catholic theology or Christian theology, integrating their lessons, and now experiences a gracious abundance. Gone are the sense of poverty and frustration, replaced now by a sense of ease and gratitude. Now, though we often equate abundance with wealth, with money, this is actually a misunderstanding as to what abundance is. There are many who are wealthy but are not free and who are not at ease. Abundance means that there is a match between what you need to support your unfoldment and the material conditions provided. There is neither too much nor too little. Now, this is kind of like a house plant having a pot that is just the right size. You escape both the frustration of being pinched and the burden of having too much. It also means being free of a constricting, binding attachment to particular things. The Master can now direct his or her energy in any number of ways. Mastery in this realm is less about acquisition and security than it is about enjoyment. This is the truer wealth for you this month, to enjoy and feel nourished by the physical objects and conditions that make up your environment and daily life, whatever they are. Being able to appreciate beauty is a part of this. Now, when you don't take in the beauty of your world, then you should feel a sense of poverty. Now, where does that take us to? I think it takes us simply to Master of Swords. Wow. How are you, Master of Swords? You see that? See that, Will? Gee, it's a lovely painting also. Well, the descending spiral in this card, this painting, I think, represents the new energies being made available to you at this time. This spiral penetrates and feeds the larger spiral, which represents the web of life. This is called realizing the web. Okay, well, it makes sense then what I'm saying. I think that this image suggests that higher energies are being infused into your life with the purpose of helping life wake up. Now, the Suit of Swords is all about patterns behind manifestation. The patterns behind manifestation. And the master, and again, can be male or female, but someone who is proficient, is one who is proficient, as I say, in perceiving these patterns, the patterns behind manifestation. The master knows how to read the web of interconnected force fields holding us all. Now, you might find that he or she is the equivalent of what many consider to be a shaman, one who can journey into interdimensional space, obtain information, and adjust the pattern when this is useful. Now, I think that the imagery in here, let's have a closer look at it again, shall we? I think the imagery in here comes from the old Norse tradition by the look of it, and that's the one that gave birth to the runes. You know, there's like those little stone things with the markings on them. In fact, some of the runes themselves appear in the main spiral, the different runes. Now, like tarot images, each of these each character, each rune encompasses a meaning that goes beyond a simple sign. It's just symbolic. There's underneath it is something that can't be converted into language, or can't be totally reproduced physically. Or very often it is the case that it can only very partially be reproduced, or not at all. Now, the only ones who knew how to read the runic alphabet in early times were the priests and priestesses who were called Rune Masters. Now, the word rune I define as meaning holy secret or mystery. Now, in this sense, the Rune Masters were the holders of holy secrets. Their ability to see into the invisible order, the underlying plan, consisted of being able to perceive and read the patterns that create our destiny and what they're woven from. Now, here, it's being referred to simply as reading the web, and defined as the ability to see the patterns of karma, psychological structures, environmental influences, all those sorts of things going on. This also talks to me of a time when you need to be very clear-headed about something and not let emotion get in the way of a situation that you are dealing with. Now, don't let empathy get in the way, because that will distract you from arising and coming to the right decision. Just for this month. Well, what a great set of cards for you. And I have to say that that is the way it is for you this month. Well, what a fantastic month for you. Great to see you again, and thank you very much for watching. It's a pleasure to be doing this with you. I do like that. And if you did like it, please do me the favor of hitting the like button. The YouTube gods like that, and it enables other people to maybe have a look at the video and enjoy what we enjoy doing ourselves. This is going to be a good month for you. I think you've got plenty to be looking forward to and things to do. So that has been food for thought, and you get together and remember this, and remember one thing always, and it is that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. So until then, it's bye for now.